Hi, Carol. Can you hear me?
Hi, Sandra. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Kind of a chilly day out there today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy. We're already taking the plants in.
I did too. Covered up my flower beds.
Yeah. My husband and I were over at Wars and looks like they were doing some covering up too.
Yeah. But maybe this will be our last frost. That'll be nice.
Yeah, as long as there's no snow.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, Rob.
All right, good. Let's see if I get the video working.
There you go. Yes, there you are.
Welcome to your first meetings.
Yeah, who would have thought?
That's what I said last year.
All right.
Well, Pat ran us through a binder full of stuff yesterday for a couple of hours as a introduction.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You feel welcomed and oriented. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a little introduction, but it looks like there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, well, it's a learning curve. I was clueless when I joined a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating process. But I do have to say that the 2018 Housatonic Library Report, which I read last year, you know, it's fantasy bordering on reality. And
Oh,
I'm like, it's great on paper, but we have to realize what is, you know, what is doable and what's not, you know,
I wonder if it's already a little dated too.
probably.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick. Here he
Hi,
is.
technical
You're-
difficult, technical
Looks like you're-
difficulty.
You're in your greenhouse.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, what a nice setting. Huh?
My cannabis factory.
That, oh,
Just
really?
joking, just joking. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so Mara is here, I guess, yes?
Yes.
Haven't seen her yet.
Yeah, hi. So we have to wait here. Today we have to reorganization of the board. So let's see here. We still need Lauren and Ruby.
Right.
for that. So Mara, is it possible you could do us a favor and take minutes tonight?
I'm not able to take minutes tonight because I have to pay attention to a lot and
Okay.
and do the report, but this is recorded, so someone
Yeah.
could take minutes afterwards from the recording.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, it's it'll become clear why I'm asking that now. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We have the recording. Okay, so we're just gonna have to can't officially start here till we have Lauren and Ruby.
Okay.
And hi to Donna, who I see hiding out in the back. Hi, Donna.
Yeah, Donna.
Okay, it's just 5:30 now, so it's nobody's late yet.
In Ruby's reply about having the meeting on Wednesday, she did say that she would prefer Thursday to block it off, so she might be having a conflict.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll have to. That's the other thing we have to sort out tonight too. Okay, so just wait for at least Lauren here. Actually, I'll go off. Let me call Lauren for a second, just in case here.
She's on, I just have to promote her to panelist. It takes a minute for that to move over, but she's here.
Yeah, let's give Ruby just maybe 2 more minutes here, just in case. Yeah, 1 more minute here, and we'll do it here.
Ruby's here as well.
Oh, she is great, excellent. Hello, Ruby. Hello, Lauren.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi,
Hiya.
Ruby.
Hi. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Ruby. It's so good to see you.
So what we have to do is actually, I can't even officially call the meeting to order here yet. So we have to do a reorganization of the board. So we have to officially get started here. Lauren. Okay, so there's got to be nominations open for the office of president or chair of the board.
Are we starting?
Yeah, we have to start. We have to do this first. Yeah.
Okay.
Lauren is muted.
Oh, maybe she's talking. Yeah, her video is on.
Sorry.
Hi.
Oh, and my camera's working again. Amazing. Okay, hi, everybody.
Hey, Lauren.
Yes, I would like to nominate Pat as to continue on as director, not director,
Chair.
chair of the board.
I will
Uh,
second.
Thank you. Lauren, can you ask for other people if anybody else wants to be nominated?
Oh, would anybody else like to be nominated? I'll take
Nobody's
that
done-
as a no.
Nobody's don't have to do this, huh? Okay. I accept, and so it's by, now we just need to, I guess, vote, but just raise your hand for now. Let's see here. Let's make sure we got a vote here. Okay.
Looks
So
unanimous, Pat.
that's unanimous. That's fine. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to serve. Now, the next office is secretary, and I know in talking to some of you that this is problematic. So let's just, first of all, we have to go through this process here. So are there any nominations for the office, and you can self-nominate, any nominations for the office of secretary? Okay, Carol, your hand isn't up, is it?
No, I'm resting my head.
Okay,
I better take my hand down. It's a bad.
we almost
Yeah,
nailed you there.
That's a
Okay.
habit.
All right, so there's no nominations for
I
the
mean, I'd
office.
love to nominate someone, but I don't know that anyone is willing to do it at this point. I mean, I would love to nominate Sandra.
Well,
I'm no,
But
sorry.
I mean, I'm getting a no from everyone that I've talked to.
yeah, the new folks, it's not fair to them to, they're not
Yeah.
even for the process here. Well, let's just move on for now, and we'll have to, Ruby had a suggestion of going to the town. Who does it for this health board, Ruby?
There's someone at the town that does it.
Okay.
Does a good job, so there's no, as long as it's recorded, she can do it. She doesn't
Okay.
have to be present.
Okay, well, let me check into that, and it's, yeah, that's the problem we have. We do have an office of treasurer, which is kind of, it's in our charter, so we have to actually have a placeholder as the treasurer, which really it's, Tamara gives us the financials each month, you know, so before, I'm not sure how that happened. I know in a treasurer, occasionally, a treasurer, a secretary, or the chair may need to sign some warrants for purchases of things. And that's about the only duties that there is. So are the nominations for the office of treasurer? We need, I mean, we have a problem here because we do need at least a placeholder. Honestly, it doesn't do anything more than that of signing things once in a while at this point.
Rob, would you be willing to do that?
Of course, I'd love to.
All right.
Okay,
I'd like to nominate Rob Schaefer for treasurer.
great.
I know he's
Are there
got a
any other
really great
nominations?
executive background, so.
Is
I
there
feel
a
confident in
second
him.
on that?
Second,
Okay, is there any other nominations for the office of treasurer? No, either there's none. Let's just vote to make it official. Just raise your hand if you're for that. Great, okay, that's unanimous. Thank you, Rob. Okay, now we can get started. So roll call, we're just gonna go down, this is all official things. And roll call has to be a voice.
But is Lauren continuing on as vice chair?
There
Don't you have
really
to-
there isn't a vice chair in our charter.
Oh,
But-
okay.
yeah, I'm
Lauren-
not vice chair.
Oh, I
but
thought you were. I'm
Lauren is
sorry.
she's our elder statesman here, actually. She's been doing this longer than all of us. So her institutional knowledge is, she's kind of like an honorary vice chair, I guess you'd say. So anyway, let's just do a roll call.
I'm sorry, I didn't, Eileen had her hand raised before, but I didn't want to interrupt this process.
Oh, sure.
And then she emailed me to say that votes must be by roll call.
Okay, well, now we can, I can officially do it now that I'm president. So let's go back. I guess we need to vote on the two offices that we put in there. So this is a roll call for both votes. Carol, this is for myself for president, Pat Hollenbeck, Rob Schaefer for treasurer.
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes,
Yes,
Ruby, Lauren,
Yes,
Rob,
Yes,
and Pat, yes, unanimous on those. Thank you, Eileen. And so that's actually, we just did a roll call. We don't really need to do it again, that we're officially in motion here at 5:38, starting the meeting. We have approval of minutes. This is not something that Rob and Sandy can vote on because they weren't here for that meeting or the minutes. So this is the April minutes. And is there a motion to take those up for now? We need a motion. I'll make the
You said-
motion.
You said to take them off?
No, we need to vote on the minutes.
I
No,
thought you said to
they-
take them
they
off.
can't- They cannot vote. Sandy and Rob cannot vote because they.
I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, is there a motion that we can bring up the minutes now? I'll just
I
make
make
the
a
first motion.
motion to vote for the minutes of April.
Okay,
April
and
minutes.
I second that. Now discussion, is there any alterations to those minutes?
No,
None? Okay.
None.
If there's none, then that's, yeah, okay, let's just vote on that to make that official. Roll call, everybody except for Sandy and Rob. Carol,
Yes,
Ruby,
yes,
Lauren,
Yes,
and Pat, yes, we need quorum in it. Great, thank you very much for that. I don't have a friends report. Samara, do you have anything from Ed? Okay,
Oh, I didn't speak to it today. No.
okay, all right, good, thank you. Then Samara, it's your turn.
Okay, so this.
One more thing, sorry, my fault. I just want to officially welcome Sandy and Rob. They're going to be great additions to the board. And we really thank you. You're coming in at a good time because everything is, we're kind of at a crosswalk here with everything. So thank you, really appreciate it.
And
So-
along with, I would like to thank the outgoing members and also all of you members who have been on and continue to serve our community. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy. Samara, your turn.
Okay, so this is the April library report. The date on this is, I'm just seeing now, is wrong because it was for the previous, was intended for the 11th. So the April statistics are on Libby, which is the reading app. You can do ebooks and e-audiobooks and e-magazines. There were 1,841 checkouts of our e-resources. Mason's circulation, that means from all libraries, everything that was checked out of Mason, even through interlibrary loan, was 7,333. And Ramsdell, the same scenario, was 1,022. Mason's in-person visitors for the month of April were 5,031 and Ramsdell's were 332. Ruby, at the last meeting, you had asked to see the in-person visitors and the circulation numbers month by month. So since I started doing them was in September, they're plotted out there in a chart. The ones that have some of the cells have a little red triangle in the corner, and those are the months during which the front door counter was not working, which was a kind of ongoing issue. So those numbers aren't really reflective of how many people did indeed enter Mason. And the Ramsdell number that's got the little red triangle, that number is quite high, and that was Halloween, which was a really big night for Ramsdell. The budget is below. This is the operating budget. This is FY23, which will end at the end of June. These numbers are up to the end of April. As you can see from the budget, the amount spent and the amount left over, we're tracking fine in all of the different line items. If anyone wants to ask anything about it, I'm happy to answer. We'll try to answer. The other budget on the following page is our non-appropriated accounts. The non-expendable ones we don't really look at because we can't really expend them, but we can, in the interest of those, and those are delineated in the next portion. There are also the donation accounts and the state aid account. This number, this $34,343 does not include the second allotment of state aid, which was about $8,000 that was recently dispersed, but is not included in that number in the chart there. Updates. So buildings and grounds, I am delighted to inform you that Mason's elevator is working again as of the 25th of April. Yay. At Ramsdell, there were some, you may have seen them, some electrical outlets that were boxes that went above ground and were really a tripping hazard. And DPW had an electrician come in, and now those are either removed or they have a nice kind of plate over them, depending on what they were and where they were. So they are no longer tripping hazards. There was on the 2nd of May, a ramp kickoff meeting with Joe Aberdale from DBW and 4 different people involved in the ramp, primarily the construction company, also having to do with the water and some landscaping elements. And so they had their initial meeting to plot out the ramp that's going in this summer. They attended it too. In terms of programs and events, in April, VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, concluded right before the end of tax season. And I heard from Tanya, who was the VITA person who came to Mason, and she said, quote, "We processed 99 returns at Mason Library. This is absolutely amazing. We're definitely looking forward to coming back." So that was a really successful program for them here. And I'm so glad that Mason was able to host that for VITA and for all the people who were able to get their taxes done through that program. Also in April, we celebrated Arbor Day with the Tree Committee in Great Barrington. They set up outside, they had lots of information about trees, and they were giving away seedlings. They had tree-shaped cookies, and Lori from the children's department and some volunteers had a project of making what are called exploding seed balls, and balls that you toss and then flower seeds go everywhere. So that was a nice activity, and also really nice for the library to do some, cross activity with different departments in the town. Coming up in May, well, not coming up in May because we're in May. In May, we went fine free on May 1st. So that was very exciting. And May is also an amnesty period as well. It's possible we'll extend that beyond May, but right now we're just focused on May and being fine free. Lori in the children's department has been having a few programs that are more geared towards parents and caregivers having to do with literacy. One coming up Friday is Fun with Words and Stories. And another wonderful program that she's hosting is a stuffed animal sleepover. Perhaps you've seen this, some libraries do them where kids bring their stuffed animals. Here they're going to have pizza and read a bedtime story and tuck them in, and then the animals will spend the night, and pictures will be taken of all the antics and shenanigans and fun that they have in the library. So the kids will be able to see what their favorite stuffies did at the library. The May displays are up. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and there's a really wonderful display that Fran Hernandez and Juliana, both staff members, put together. There's also information for patrons on further resources for mental health. And in the display case, the reuse, refuse, and recycle display continues to evolve, created by Stephanie Blumenthal. Every time I pass it, it seems it has a new iteration with information on how to best use and reuse items. And this month we have our first in a while hanging exhibit as well, called Street Zen, which is abstract paintings by Ruby Avers. And so it's neat to see something different on the walls this month. I have a few staff updates to share with you. I told the board last time that Dorothy Phillips moved, and so her position, which was fewer hours than our part-timers, became vacant, and we had a staff member who asked to transition to those hours, and so now that position is open and was just recently posted. They were posted internally due to union requirements, and then they go external. I would also like to tell you that our wonderful assistant director, one of two assistant directors, Talia Leodari, has accepted a position as curator at the Stockbridge Museum, and she will be leaving the libraries on the 23rd of June to embark on this new career, new adventure. It's a very exciting position, and we're extremely happy for her, and also so thankful for the tremendous amount that she has done for the Great Barrington Libraries over the past 9 years. And I am also would like to inform you that I handed in my resignation as the director of the Great Barrington Libraries. I am not the right fit for this position, and I have a lot of responsibilities that I'm not able to manage it all. I'm going to stick around for a little bit while a new director is found, and yeah.
Wow, that is news.
You know,
Well,
this
you.
this is probably a bad question to ask at this point, but would you consider one of the lesser positions with less responsibilities?
I guess I don't really want to, that's a bit of a big question, and I don't really want to answer it.
Okay,
now.
because I'm just thinking if Talia is leaving, you know, you could step into something with less responsibility. We'd hate to lose you. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's not, I guess that wouldn't, I guess I'd rather not answer that right now. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Okie dokie. Yeah. Anything else? I hope not. Okay, well, wow, this is well, we can continue this conversation then.
That's a lot of changes in 1 month. Phew.
Yeah, well, it's amazing because COVID changed everything anyway. Everything seems to be shifting, that it just doesn't seem to stop at anything. The Ramsdale building update. So the town signed a letter of intent to look at this thing. There's some meetings next week on the 23rd. I'm attending one. Somebody, I think, Samara, can you attend one of those? Because you're still library director. There's
Not able to attend that, no,
23rd, 24th, 25th. There's 3 of them.
no.
So when are you stepping down as the director, though? Are you immediately, or? Is there a
No,
date?
I'm going to, I spoke with the town, and I will stay on for some period of time while they look for someone else.
Okay. I mean, I need to ask this because if the library director doesn't go to this meeting next week, then we can't get $4 million. I mean, that's a
I think it's an
stipulation.
equation like that.
Pardon?
I don't think it's an equation of if the library director doesn't go to the meeting, then we don't get $4 million. I
Yeah,
don't.
well,
think
it's
that's
true. It's mandatory is the word in that they sent something out this morning. It's mandatory that library director, because you signed that letter, and that someone involved with finance has to sign it. It's as simple as that. It's not negotiable with them. So please consider that, because even though you're leaving, that's going to have a dramatic effect on all of us here.
Can one of us go instead?
No, I'm going anyway.
Oh,
Any of
you're-
you can go to the meeting, but it's mandatory that it's the library director. Actually, let me pull up this note.
Do you have the paperwork on that, that you can send to Samara? Okay,
Yeah, yeah. No, she may have gotten, it was a fog of, flow of emails today. I can send that to you, Samara, so you
Okay.
can see that it's critical that,
just do me a favor, since, Rob and I are new. So how does the process work to get a new director?
the town has to advertise it. They have to ask, I think if there's anybody
This is the
in-house that wants to step up.
Board.
And
Okay.
then it's basically has to be put into a public announcement, and it's
Okay,
open for application. So it's,
and what is our role in that?
sorry.
What is our role in that?
And you know what?
A roll.
Not much,
Do we have a role in choosing the director?
no.
No.
Okay, so it's
No.
just select board.
Well, what there was
No, the
last,
town manager.
yeah, so
Okay.
what there was last time was that one person, the town manager asked for one library trustee to be on that search committee. And
Okay.
Margaret, who was with us then, she was a librarian in New York. I mean, she's a professional in that field. So it wasn't right that I take that role in the search thing. So I asked her to do it. So it's probably going to be similar. It'll be probably one person in the trustees that can be asked to do that. I mean, you can still put the word out and solicit people that you know out there. I mean, this is a great town. These jobs unfortunately do not pay enough, which is another thing, but we don't seem to be able to change that. In fact, there was something that came up from the library commissioners today. Some libraries were trying to put their friends were trying to add some financial stipends and incentives for some of their librarians, and they said you can't, it's illegal. So, Rob, got a question?
Well, not to, sorry to interrupt, Pat, but I wonder, going back to Samara not being able to attend the meetings, there's two, what is it? Talia, and there's two assistants, or Donna, is it possible that one of them could
Yeah, I
attend
mean, again,
Samara's
this is,
behalf?
I'll find that letter. I'll send you guys to later. It says that the two people that signed the letter of intent have to be there. That's just their legal requirement. But I'll send everybody everything, and we'll
So Pat, can one of us go with you?
yeah, it's on Zoom. You're all invited. Anybody can attend this. Public.
Oh.
So friends can attend, trustees. So it's just a meeting to describe everything about it's an introductory meeting about the grant itself and what to expect in the coming year from it. So I'll send everybody this, and you can just simply sign up. You can just register and then go. They're on that's on the 23rd, 24th, 25th. You just have to go to one of them. So that's what that is. It's at 1 to 3 is when the one is on the 23rd. So yeah, so we've got a lot to unpack here now, I guess. Let's just go on for now to question and answers, because I want to make sure that, boy, Rob and Sandy picked a good night to show up, because we have a lot of changes here. So for you folks, is there any questions that we can answer as a group here for you now? Anything comes to mind?
So I have just a question.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about programs, and obviously I'm brand new. So how does that work? For example, if I wanted to see more adult programming than we have, how can I find out what's being done and if anything is needed for that? How is programming done and who does it?
Programming is currently done by me, adult programming. We've had some constraints having to do with our HVAC system not working, so our community room is not usable. Prior to me, Talia did programming, and during COVID, there was a lot of, online things of that nature. We do have programming. There's programming coming up this summer, and
So is there adult program? I'll just tell you why, because I was in Stockbridge Library and I did a food group. And it was great. And I was thinking, well, that would be a wonderful thing to have here because it doesn't require anything except for space to bring stuff in. So let's say there were ideas for programming. How would that get accomplished? You know, how do you get ideas out there to the people who will take care of the programming in the library?
Well, I mean, currently I'm the person who that would go to, so, you know, we'll have to kind of see where that goes. We're not doing programming. We have a community room in the Mason Library downstairs. It was recently repainted and we got a new floor. It was very exciting. And now we just need a new HVAC system, which has been promised on the 15th of June. And
Okay.
after that, that has been my date at which, okay, we can have programming once that's in. That room has no ventilation whatsoever. And then with COVID and now with, you know, hotter weather, it's just, the room is not really manageable without that, but with that coming. That said, because you can't know that it will come on the 15th and will
Right, you
be
got
all
it done.
perfectly. So,
Right.
so all the ideas that we've had for programming there, we're kind of keeping them in abeyance of saying, you know, we hope to do this, but we don't have a firm date on which to hang our hat yet. But
Okay.
so that's where that stands. But we
So now-
also, Mhm.
Yeah, is it possible that the director doesn't have to do the programming, that someone else can do the adult or young adult programming? Like you have somebody who does the children's programming, right? Downstairs?
Yes,
Right.
there's a.
So is it possible to have someone take on that role after that June date, you know, when hopefully everything is done? And so the director doesn't have to do that. So someone else, the assistant director or another librarian who can take on the role of programming for young adults and adults.
Young adults falls under the purview of the children's department. And I mean, programming is you know, it's a job. And we all wear many different hats here. And I've been wearing the programming hat. Previously, someone else wore the programming hat, and in the future, someone else will. So yes,
So it's
someone will do that role. I don't quite know who it will be yet.
Okay, so it's not required that the director does that. You
No,
took it on.
No, I took it on, and we, you know, when I came on board, we did some shifting of responsibilities and whatnot. And I really like programming. And so I was excited to take on programming.
Okay, great. And then I have one other idea, and I don't know how to propose this or something, but Sheffield Library has an all-terrain wheelchair. And you could rent it out. It's like in the library of, what is that called?
The Library of Things.
Right. So, and it's kind of personal to me. I have a nephew who was in a swimming pool accident and is in a wheelchair now. He's in his 40s. I would love to have that for Great Barrington, Ramsdale, but I don't know the proper way of doing that. I don't know whether it's something that I myself could donate to the library, or as a community, if we have a way where people can donate to something like that, so they feel a part of doing something. So any thoughts on how that would work? I don't know.
Well, we have a library of things at the Ramsdale Library where we are getting a ramp, which will make it wheelchair
Perfect.
accessible.
Yeah.
And that library of things is primarily focused on tools for improvement
Right.
projects, and also craft related projects, and also some electronic, more in
Right.
the crafty electronic area. So that said, you know, it doesn't need, those items don't need to be in those categories necessarily. The Library of Things was established through a grant that Talia got and created this Library of Things. And in terms of of new items for it. I mean, in terms of donations, people give donations to the library. Because we're not a 501c3, we can't, it's not a tax situation, but then people can donate through the Friends.
Right.
Through that, and they could certainly earmark a certain amount for a wheelchair that works on all terrain. I don't recall what it was, but I remember reading about Sheffield's, and they did get that specifically through a grant. So perhaps that same grant could be explored.
And who does the grant writing in the library now?
Talia.
Okay, so she would be the person to actually talk to about that.
She would, except that she's transitioning out to another library.
And what about Donna? She's the other assistant director?
Yes, but she has a large portfolio of work, and
Okay.
that grant writing is not part of
Okay.
that.
So,
I think, Sandy, there's nothing to prevent, in some libraries, trustees that have experience with grants, sometimes friends can write grants. So it's not exclusive that the staff has to do all of it. So, I think we can look into that, and we can try to, as an experiment, try to just fundraise at the trustee level with organizations in town. So if you can get all the information together of what we need for money, and how long does it take? A long time to get a chair. It might take, a year. Who knows how they run
right,
this. So get all the details, and then we can just, as a board, decide that we want to. I mean, obviously, the board now is going to have more weight on our shoulders going forward here for a little bit. So I think that's a great thing to take up for sure.
fundraise.
Can I just ask, just add a little bit about these wheelchairs or all-terrain vehicle chairs, is that I've prescribed them for many of my patients, and not infrequently, they need to be adjusted for the person. You have to make sure they're working order, because they could have liability associated with it. And so when you ask for a grant for something like this, people don't really need them for short periods of time. They need them for really long periods of time. For those who need them for short periods of time, you need to make sure someone comes to adjust the wheelchair and teach them how to use it. Otherwise, they will fall off of it.
Yeah. So Ruby, since you know so
So-
much about this, what type of person does that? Fits them for the chair? Is it
So there are
easy person?
people, you might see their trucks going through town. There's stability, mobility companies that will come out to your home and they will adjust it. They will fix the seating. They have to adjust the handles. It has to be upkept. So if you get a grant for something like this, I think it's really important to make sure that it's fixed and there's some liability insurance associated with it.
So I'm
That's-
gonna check with Sheffield,
Grant.
because they
Um,
already have it and it's up and running.
So it's not
It's a
like
full-
somebody just borrows it and just, there's a liability associated, because they can fall off of it if they are not taught how to adjust it and make sure if they fit into the chair correctly.
Well, it's not, it doesn't seem like it's a chair that the person is using him or herself. It's not like that. It looks like, from what I saw of it, it's the chair, but someone has to be pushing it as well.
Right, but someone needs to teach them how to use the chair. For example, how do you set the brakes so the kid doesn't roll down the street? Those are things, those are safety concerns that every time you rent it out, somebody has to go over what the rules are.
Yeah, but
They have to
it's
be taught how to
only
do it.
the hiking path chair, right? That's what it is. It's
I-
not for
Sandy-
home.
Sandy,
It's not
could you
a-
send any information to Ruby so she could see what it is? Is there, that'll help. But this is
Yeah.
great having Ruby here too, because we'll
Yeah, I'm
figure
gonna
this
go
out.
to Sheffield Library also, and I'll check it out there.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to make sure that they have some sort of insurance policy, so if people falls off of it, the library is not liable for it.
A good point. Okay, that's good. Yeah, Carol.
Speaking of grants, I'd like to move back to the Ramsdale building grant.
Mhm.
Back when we had a vote on that, I had to abstain because I felt that I did not have enough information for an informed vote. But since then, I've seen a review, I think that came from our town manager. I'm not sure how much Samara participated in that, where they explained why this particular grant was not appropriate and was not probable that Ramsdale would get it. So my question is, I'd like Samara to review those points, and I'd like to understand what kind of town time and money of the employee or whoever the grant writer would be is that they feel that it's a futile process. Can you review that, Samara? Because it was written in, I think, the minutes. And then once I read that, I realized that I probably would have voted no, because I want to trust that the town manager, the library director have enough knowledge to know what's feasible and what's not feasible. And it's not obstructionist, it's more realistic. Are you able to do that, Samara, at this time?
Yes.
Great. That would help me, because I felt I don't like to abstain because I feel like I'm not playing a proper role when I do that. But at that moment, I felt like I had no background knowledge to have a good vote. Thank you for reviewing that for me, please. I'd really appreciate that.
So the letter of intent was due last month, I believe. And with that letter of intent was supposed to be with it a long-range plan and a 30-year financial plan, had a different term, but some, same thing. The Great Barrington Libraries do not have an up-to-date long-range plan or a 30-year financial plan. That said, if those were not submitted with the letter of intent, they give the dates of October 1st for a long-range plan and December 1st for the financial plan. I have not yet, while I have learned about it in school, I have not yet been through the process of a long-range plan, but I know that it is long. It involves a lot of discussions with the community and with the patrons and with the staff and with the board, and really a vision of where the Great Barrington Libraries, or specifically in this case, Ramsdale Library, is going. So I think it's really a process that needs to be thoughtful and not kind of just created for a due date. I think it's a beneficial process and one that the library should go through, but to give it the time and thought that it needs and deserves. So in terms of reasons why this would not necessarily be advantageous, was that twice before in the past, the libraries have attempted to apply for this grant, which comes about every 4 years, without success.
Specifically for Ramsdale, the last 2 times?
Yes. Okay, so the
Can I
timeline.
ask a question regarding this?
Mhm.
If this has been denied twice in 4 years, was it because we didn't have the long range plan or the long range budgeting? No, you didn't use the word budgeting. Was that the
Financial
reason
plan.
why we were denied?
They weren't denied, as far as I understand. They didn't make it to the finish line. One was in 2010. The other was in 2017. I don't know, this seriously predates me, and so I don't quite know the full stories of those grant rounds. And it's not within 4 years, it comes around every 4 years.
Okay. Thank you.
So the way the grant works is through, the long range plan would be due in the financial plan, and then throughout I mean, of course, there's it's a huge grant, so there's a bazillion requirements and things that you go through. And so you do all of this processes and work, and that brings you to the spring of 2024 when you submit it. And then then the town must vote on allocating about $150,000 in planning and design funding to commit to that. So, if the grant comes in, and then you'd also need to afterwards submit this town approval, this town vote, which, is not necessarily a given by any means. And then the grant itself covers 60% of the minimum amount, which is 5 million. So there's about $2 million that would need to be raised, which would be a very hefty sum for taxpayers. And it would really require, if it didn't come out of tax dollars, require a capital campaign that would need, professional fundraisers involved in it. The grant is also extremely competitive. Only 10, they project, they don't know definitively, but only 10 libraries in Massachusetts will receive this grant. Some years ago, just for the trustee members who are new, in 2018, consultants came, Kimberly Bolin and Associates, and they were engaged to create a program and facility vision for Ramsdell Library. And they did numerous focus groups and meetings with staff and board and people in the community. And they concluded their report with what the next steps should be. And those were to assess and determine the strategic direction of Ramsdell Library and its services, to meet with library directors and board leaders from the region who have embarked on a successful building project not primarily funded by taxpayers, to develop a financial and funding strategy, to develop a fundraising strategy and establish supporting resources, to define project phasing, and to then begin the Massachusetts State Construction Grant process. So I strongly believe, and my colleagues strongly believe that these are the steps that we need to go through first. I mean, these are the steps that ideally would have, commenced in 2018, and then we would be here today ready to roll with this grant, but they didn't. And so these are really the steps, I think, in order to have a chance at this very competitive grant, that these steps should be taken first before applying.
So do you feel it's futile at this point to try and apply for this specific grant at this specific time, and that the amount of time or money of employee time would not be well spent? Is that sort of a town manager's viewpoint also?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the town, I'm a little uncomfortable, but yes, that's a summation of it for sure.
And who, if this were to happen, who would be responsible right now? Who's the point person who would have to, where our tax money, our tax dollars would be going to this employee's time to do this?
Well, my understanding is that Patrick said that the trustees would do the entire process.
The entire process of writing the grant, you mean?
I said I would take the responsibility, absolutely. But let me step in here because we're kind of wasting time. This is
I don't feel this is a waste of time.
Carol, please let me finish here. I let you talk for a while. This was signed off on already. Right? So the town revised their decision on this thing, because each of those points, and this is not Samara, okay, she's in the middle of this thing. Every one of those points was not correct. Ramsdell never applied for this grant. 2010, Mason had gotten the money in 2007, and Ramsdell wasn't even eligible for a 5-year period. So that's the one thing. So they couldn't even apply. 2016, 17, I was involved in that. It was not, they were looking for, what they did is they went for Community Preservation Act money. Jennifer was the town manager at the time. She said, no, don't do that. I'll find some money someplace else. It wasn't for this specific grant. Ramsdale never applied. Never, all right, never. And I have the documentation from the state library commissioners to mention this. So that's that point. On the taxpayers' money, I don't want to see a significant amount of taxpayers' money go into this. But we have Community Preservation Act money. 2 years ago, we gave $250,000 to a for-profit developer. That didn't seem to bother anybody. So Ramsdale needs money. We're going to have to tap some of that fund over a few years. It would take till 2016 before billing could occur. So there's several rounds of that money available. And what I told the town was that I will personally help start a library foundation, which uses no town money. It has no impact on staff or anything, like most libraries have, to raise as much as we can on that. So that's the deal. But to walk away from $4 million, we cannot do. That's going to be on the backs of taxpayers if you walk away. Yeah,
But it's
Carol.
even my understanding, because I love your passion, Patrick. I know how deeply you care about our libraries. What is your hope if you've got the letter of intent in and say, you know, you're hoping that we would get this grant in this coming cycle? What is your hope for how you're going to use that at Ramsdale Library? What do you envision
okay.
that being used for?
Well, that has to be, this is to get the grant, you have to, all that has to be detailed. I mean, right now, libraries have changed significantly. They're more than just books, especially after COVID. We need gathering places where people can have meetings with discourse and everything else. We're desperate for that. And Mason is running full stop. There's no more space down there. You know, so the thing is, in that report that I sent everybody again the other day, they did a great job on this report. That's what they basically say. They vision libraries now. They want libraries open after hours. So part of when you do renovations, they want it so libraries can be segregated, so park can be used by the public at night without staffing issues. That's what it's going to be. And if you look at what Ramsdale was when they filed the National Historic Register application, Ramsdale in 1908 had an amazing place. Upstairs, there was dances, there was poetry readings, there was everything going on. It was an unbelievably vibrant place. And you know what? That's all we want it to be now, a place for the community.
So structurally, is it even feasible to, if we say did get this grant, to design a space where that could be self-enclosed and people could use it after hours? Because that's structurally even feasible with that building and that plot of land?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that Rob, the consultant, was very optimistic about Ramsdale. It's as far as what you can do there. He said it was ready to go because, you know, Mason's on two levels. It's just too much access. Ramsdale's a much easier place. It'd be great if we could afford an elevator in the back.
So would you have to put an addition on to Ramsdale?
Some places, yeah, some places do. In fact, if you go to Hotchkiss Library in Sharon, Connecticut, they're literally doing that now. It's a building a little bit different than Ramsdale, but it's kind of the same age. They put this little addition on the back, which they put an elevator in for handicapped accessibility, bathrooms, and it goes down to a basement meeting space, and then it goes upstairs. So it's a perfect. It's really looks. I saw it a couple of weeks ago. It looks great, and they're in the process of that. But if you go online, you can see pictures of that Hotchkiss Library.
Let me just add that I'm extremely supportive of Ramsdale and Housatonic. I think it's a community. It's a community that needs a library, that needs people and kids to be able to walk to their library. And I am fully in support of doing whatever needs to be done to help that get to where it needs to be and should be. So
It's
so
worth
you
a
have-
try.
That's great. Thank you, Sandra. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You know, Carol, back to your thing. It's just there's no harm in trying because again, that $4 million that we're really going to need. If we don't get this, then the only way to do it when the building starts falling apart is going to have to be on the taxpayers' back. I really don't want to see that happen.
or use other funding, but why not go for something that could help?
Yeah, I mean, that's just, yeah, so that's a story on that. I mean, everything's a challenge, but we just kind of like do what we can here, see what happens.
What about-
So what's the next step? Once, you know, you've submitted this letter of intent, so what's the next step?
Yeah, and I'll send everybody everything tonight. The next step is literally a 2-hour meeting next week on 3 different days. You have a choice of which one to go to. And because I told the town I would take responsibility for this stuff, I'm going. But it actually, because the letter of intent had to be signed by the library director, and in this instance, the town manager, they have to go to one of those meetings. I think honestly, it might be the only thing they have to show up for during the whole process. You know, it's just this thing of getting everybody on the same page, of knowing what they have to do here. So the state for this stuff, the library commissioners are unbelievable with this. It's the best use of taxpayers' money I can imagine. Actually, Ruby and I today were on a webinar for long-range planning. And I think I sent you that a couple of days ago, everybody, and that'll be available on a recording. I think they said by Monday, Ruby, it'll be available
think so,
for anybody to look
yeah.
at. Yeah. So, and then let me talk about that, going back to the strategic plan. It was supposed to, we were out of date. So the last one was from 2017 through 2021. And so by 2022, we were supposed to enact another one. And unfortunately, Amanda left. It should have actually had it occurred during that process. Since it wasn't done, there's something called a Library Services Act, Technology Act, LSTA grants, which are worth up to about $20,000. You can apply like every year for various things. We could not apply without that grant. So many grants, you've got to have this or you can't get any money.
You mean?
So that's another.
Pat, what you're
Yeah.
saying is that you need to update a strategic plan in order to get all of these grants.
Yeah,
And we need to
any
update-
grants. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the conference this afternoon and they were very clear and very supportive in helping, but it's not something we can do, like just somebody writes a strategic plan. You have to get information. Did you go to the meeting?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
You
you know that we have to get surveys out, we have to figure out what our needs are
Yeah,
and look at,
yeah,
yeah.
I've been involved in the last 2 for here.
Oh, okay.
So, and I can send you copies of those. The last one that was done really was, honestly, it was, the committee was Kathy Plunges, myself, Amanda, and Don. I think that was it. So that wasn't ideal because as today they talked about they should have various people on these things. But the thing is, it passed and we got all our grants money in the meantime for that thing. And it was, if you see it, you can see it was done quickly. The one before that was a slightly larger group. But it wasn't, when they talk about this thing takes 6 months to do, it doesn't. At least these here and never have that I've been at. I mean, they
Okay.
were done really quickly. Yeah, and you have some focus groups with the community, which is simple. You have some meetings, you do surveys online, you hand out things at the library desk, you do various things. And I have also, you can see anybody's strategic plans, and I encourage you to look at the one for Williamstown. It's the Milne Library, MILNE. It's great. And what's different now with technology, these things all have a lot of pictures in them and everything else. In the past, it was just all text. So I would say Milne Library is a good one to look at. You can look at any of my, I can give you paper copies, but you got to really see how good the graphics are on this stuff. I actually called the Milne Library today anyway. The director wasn't in because I wanted to see who did their work on this stuff because it was sensational. But any library you can think of, they're usually on their websites. I don't even know if ours is on our website, which is a good question. Greenwich Library, I love what they do. They after COVID, they have this whole program called Reconnect with the their patrons. It's really wonderful. Now that's a library with a lot of money, but the thing is, the scope is different, but the issues are the same. So the thing is, what we would do is we could review our past strategic plans to see what we didn't accomplish, which was actually quite a bit, because even the one that was done from 2013 to 17, a lot of it was about Ramsdale.
Pat,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
actually, this is Talia.
Hey,
I would like,
sorry, you're leaving.
yes, I am leaving. And to that note, I'd like to point out that I really do think it's very important that staff be involved in the strategic plan and the long range planning. And
Yeah, no, they definitely are. That's
and
what we came up
yes,
to.
can you?
Everybody is.
Please? And you're losing a director and an assistant director, and it takes a long time to hire. And these things have to be done by October. And so you're expecting, I just want you to think about the logistics. You're expecting 2 new senior staff positions to start and plunge right into long-range planning while they also have a library to run. I just want you to think about the logistics involved.
No,
in
you have a good point. And the thing is, how libraries do that is they don't do the long range planning is much shorter. You know, it might be 6 months, might be 1 year, and you explain this is why, because we're in transition with our senior leadership. So it doesn't mean that we have to stop our work, because otherwise we can't apply for any grants for another year past this one, even on the normal grants.
Patrick, just hold on 1 second, a question. So for this strategic planning committee, does that have to be put out to the community? How do you get the people on that committee who are knowledgeable enough to do something like this? I mean, I've never done it before myself.
Yeah, I think if you look at these plans, you'll see it's going to be a lot more user friendly than you think. And it involves everybody, staff, patrons. They encourage you to get people that don't even go into libraries, because they should be part of the process. Why not?
How do you get those people on the committee?
We just we put an ad in the Edge. Maybe we put a sign in the farmer's market. We put a sign on the desk of the libraries. And none of this is hard. I mean, it's just not. But again, I have available our last 2 plans, which really wasn't much. And the thing is, libraries now have great ones for the same reason that you attract donors. That's your planning document to attract donors. So if you've got a vision for Ramsdale, that goes down in there. So
Now, some of the other places that you were talking about where they have video or they have pictures and things like that, do they hire out to promulgate that?
I don't know, but I did call Williamstown today to find out. And so I'll probably get an answer tomorrow. So I already did that because
So-
Pat, I just downloaded it, and they're saying that they use the Massachusetts Library Commission consultant. So
Oh.
Williamstown had a consultant
Okay.
together.
Good.
So if you just, it's really easy. You just go on their website and you type in strategic plan, and it'll come right up 2022 to 2026. And when you click it, it will tell you who's involved, which include several community members, 2 trustees, and the director and the assistant director of the library, with the support of consultants.
Good.
So,
Yeah. So, and that's every library is different. In fact, Rob Cullen, the guy that did our stuff in 2018, he does these things. So if you go to Saratoga Springs, New York, and look at their strategic plan, Rob and his associate, they did it.
okay.
There's more graphics and no actual photos. But again, you can go to any library probably in the world and get this stuff and see what they're doing. And you'll see that it's about embracing the community. I mean, a lot of them say the same things now. We're coming out of COVID. Even big libraries have technology issues of trying to educate our people. So you'll see it is what it is.
So let's say we want to just, trying to flesh this out, because you're saying that we need this by October, right?
Mhm.
So we're a limited time frame. Let's say we wanted to look at some of these consultants. They're assuming there's a fee involved. How do they get paid? Where does that money come from?
Okay, so you guys will all need to look at this recording of this thing we saw today, because it covers some of this stuff. The thing is that you have to decide how much of a consultant do you need. You need it for certain aspects, then you're getting to certain things. You want them to take over the whole thing, it's a certain price. So there's a menu of what it is. And obviously, if it's somebody in state, that's cheaper than bringing somebody in from California. So that's all in the cards there.
But
today was.
How do they get paid? What's the line item in the library budget?
But look, it comes sometimes in various places, friends pay.
Okay.
It depends how you do it. Sometimes it's contributions, it's budgets.
It's there to pull from.
Yeah, we have to just figure that out, like we did with the other times the consultants came in.
Okay.
So it's all there. It's not easy, but we got it done. So that's that. But this thing today was about 2 hours long, and it was great. So I suggest you look at that. Yes, Samara.
Eileen would like to speak.
Sure. Eileen, please.
I was going to ask what Sandra just asked, because I don't recall when the library's budget was presented, that there was enough money in it to pay
No,
anybody.
No, there's not.
Okay.
No, the town's budget has nothing in it for this next year for that, no. But the thing is, like I said, if we didn't apply for an LSTA grant last October because we didn't have this, and those grants, you know, can be about $20,000. If we don't do it this year, then it's 40,000. So the thing is, at some point, we have to, as trustees, this is our problem now. And I should tell you, with this long-range plan, the approval of it is by the trustees. You're the ones that mandate this thing. So it's some towns, the trustees stay out of it, and the document's given to them, they read it, they vote on it, or they amend it or something. But the power of that lies with the trustees.
But Pat, but answer that question though, the money to pay for someone to help us do this, where does that come from?
Well, we don't, it's not there.
Sandra, you need to look at the presentation that was this afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah, it tells you everything, and you don't
About
need,
financial?
you
It tells
don't
you about-
actually need a consultant. So many towns like ours, they don't hire a consultant. They actually show you that there's a book that somebody has published to teach libraries how to do this.
Okay,
yeah. This
So,
thing, it was
you
very-
don't
it's very-
need all
very
that money to do something simple, is what Pat is trying to tell you.
all right.
So you
So
just have to wait till
there's a-
Monday and
there's a
you'll
format.
understand much better what this is all about, why there's a strategic plan, why we need it, how do
Well-
most libraries do it. They tell you step by step. And
Okay.
the presenter is actually a consultant for the Massachusetts Library. And so she's very knowledgeable. And there are many towns that do it without paying money.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you just have to go through with it and look at it.
And just in your spare time, if you just pick a library, go to their website and see what they have for strategic plans. I mean, I saw a great one from, I don't know if it was some little Scarborough, Maine, I think it was. I mean, some of these places are small and they do a great job with this. But the thing is, Williamstown is really excellent. You read it and you feel invested in the library just by reading what they've got and what they've done. So part of it is they describe their history of where they are, and maybe how they work with the strategic plans that they just got done with. Do they follow it or not? You know, and then so they put down their strengths and weaknesses, and they come up with this. Ours will be a much shorter one for the reasons that Hallie even said. We can't go further out, and we don't know who's running the place. But we can definitely, we need a strategic plan right now to figure out how to do anything,
right.
whether it be getting some of these grants that are coming in or whatever. So, and this is putting aside the building grants. I mean, we need that so we don't go another year without applying for the LSTA grants. The
Good.
LSTA grants, by the way, when I was checking into this, we've only had one of those grants since 2012.
Oh,
One,
that's all.
which means that I'm not sure why that is, but the thing is, we are not the norm when it comes to asking for money.
Yeah.
I think I can tell you that. So I think that's, well, this was a hefty discussion. Is there anything else on this? Anyway, the strategic plan stuff, Ruby said it more eloquently than me. You just got to watch this video, which will be available to you starting on Monday. And Laura Dede is the person that Ruby's talking about. She is great. She's one of the leading people in Massachusetts at the state level where she works. She's like a trustee advisor at the state level. And you can call her or write her any questions you have. She's great. So I recommend that. Anything else on this? I hope not. Eileen, is your hand still up, or is that just for practice?
Nope.
No,
I
okay, thank you. I have one question back to the artifacts that we signed off on. There's some controversy. You know, Samara, you know what's going on with that? That there was something in the edge that we improperly gave some things away that really do belong to the town. Has there been any?
We did not improperly give away. We returned, we repatriated artifacts of the Stockbridge Mohicans to the Stockbridge Mohicans.
But I guess there was some artifacts that it was Garrett, what was his name? I forgot who wrote this thing. But there was some question on some things. So have we had any have they contacted us at all? Because they did say the library gave the stuff away improperly, which is kind of a drag.
If it's true.
Actually, Eileen knows again. Eileen's hands up. Eileen?
The historical commission felt that it should be involved when artifacts are given away. Not that it should make the decision, but that it should have some input. And ask the selectmen about a policy, and the selectmen, I think this was at the last meeting, said, why didn't they come up with a policy for the selectmen to review? And that's where it was left.
Okay, great. So we're in the clear then. Okay, good.
So, and those were already given back, Samara?
They're they're at the satellite office in Williamstown, and they're working with Williams students on taking 3D photographs of them and creating a panel, which the Great Barrington Library will also get a copy of, and then they will go to the Arthur E. Miller Library and Museum on the Stockbridge Muncie Reservation in Wisconsin.
Great, thank you.
Let's see here. It's 6:40 now. Let's go back to our meeting with, it's very important to work this meeting situation out. What's happened is on Thursdays, we've constantly been getting preempted by important things going on at the planning board. And so there's a lot of people that have stopped coming to our meetings or wanted to come and feel like they can't. And so the question was, could we move to another night? Obviously, Monday night select board night, which leaves Tuesday and Wednesday, because we're already on Thursday, and Friday, there's no meetings on Friday. So the question is do we just stay on Thursdays, which we already have, or do we try to move to Monday or Tuesday night? I guess that's the question. Anybody have feelings on this?
I'm open to, I could work around, my schedule can work around any night.
Okay. Carol, what do you say?
So are you skipping Wednesday altogether? You said Monday or Tuesday.
Well, no, we're trying to see because it said, well, we're talking about Tuesday and Wednesday. I know Ruby's got some conflicts. So that's why we just want to make sure everybody's clear. We can always stay on Thursday if we have to. But it says, Ruby, can you tell us what your situation is?
I
On
work
Wednesdays?
Wednesdays.
You work Wednesday nights. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that kind of takes care of that then. So I think,
I could move my day if I have to.
well, it's kind of, I guess it boils down to, if you can't move it, we can move to Thursdays, back to Thursdays. But it's kind of your decision then if you're working. You know, we
So
don't want to.
Thursdays are good for me just because I have that day for Board of Health meetings. So I always have Thursdays free.
I
So
see.
the Board of Health meeting is the first Thursday of the month, and the trustee meeting is the second Thursday of the month.
Yep.
So that helps me in keeping
Okay.
that space
All right. I
open.
see.
How about Mondays?
Well, select board.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I'm fine with any of the nights.
Okay. So it sounds like we just stay on Thursdays then. Is that the agreement? I think. I
Second
guess-
Thursday.
Yeah,
Second
it's too
Thursday.
bad though, because it would be nice if we did have, attendees more often.
Yeah.
Is Wednesday a more open date in terms of not having other town boards meeting? I haven't looked at the Wednesday calendar.
I mean, like, today it's like the improvement committee meets at 6:30.
Mhm.
The Housatonic Improvement Committee. Yeah, Wednesday tends to be, sometimes select board goes Wednesdays if they need the time. But not usually.
Because I know
So
I
it's just-
have a meeting that's rotates Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I always have to miss the Thursday one when we have a library board meeting. But so the Wednesday is great for me, and I like the fact that there's not less conflict. I mean, I know I'm going to have to skip the planning board meeting if it's something I really want to check in on. Whereas Wednesday, there's no burning meeting that I feel like I'm going to miss out on because of the trustees meeting.
Gotcha. Geez, all right, so, well, we need to.
But I
set-
also will I will be happy to defer to Ruby I mean,
But now Ruby, didn't you say that you could possibly change your work night? Like how did you manage tonight?
So I would have to work another night. So I would work either Monday or Tuesday night instead, but I don't know, that's not allotted to me, so I have to apply for it.
Okay, right, and it might affect other people as well if you
Right.
do that, yeah. Okay.
and Samara will continue, Samara, will you be continuing on to come to our meetings until your replacement is found?
I will continue to come to the meetings, yes, yes.
And the Thursday has worked for you, and do you have conflicts? I know you go to
No,
school.
I had made my schedule so that I didn't take classes Thursday nights, and I'm not taking a class this summer. I want to say that, thanks for asking. Michelle Loubert's hand is raised.
Okay. Good evening, Michelle. Michelle, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I had to unmute. I'm still at
There we
work.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to point out, I did raise my hand during the grant discussion and wasn't recognized. So I'm bringing
Oh,
that
I
back
didn't
up
notice
at
it.
Citizen Speak. Okay. Regarding the
But
days.
we haven't resolved the discussion we're on right now, before she starts to
Yes,
talk
and
about
I'm
that. We're still
just-
talking about the meeting night right now.
Yes, but I just wanted to point out that as a citizen, I did have my hand raised. Another person was recognized, I was not. So
Michelle, I simply didn't see it. It
that's
happened.
okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I'm bringing it back up again as citizen speak. Regarding the meeting nights, Tuesday nights are also a busy meeting night, particularly with the finance committee when you go into budget season. There are meetings run Monday and Tuesday nights. Thursday nights, it's planning board, board of health, Housatonic Improvement Committee. If you're taking on a project with regard to the Ramsdale, you are probably going to need citizen support. I'm a Ramsdale advocate, and I would be unable to attend Thursday night meetings. It's been a Thursday night meeting for a long time, often conflicting with other meetings. And I appreciate the fact you're looking at it, but again, if you're involved in town government and you trust me, you got to watch the planning board and what they're doing all the time. So I'm at every meeting there with Housatonic water issues and other health issues in Great Bear and Housatonic. You're on the Board of Health. So if you care about our libraries, you want to be part of that. I've told Patrick sometimes I'm in an office with one laptop and in the bedroom, there's another laptop going, and I'm going between two meetings, the planning board, Board of Health, library trustees, etc.
So are you saying you prefer Wednesday, Michelle?
Absolutely, because there's rarely any other meetings on Wednesday. Sometimes, like Pat pointed out, there's overflow. But the select board will use Wednesday if there's overflow, but that's rare. So I myself as a citizen, Wednesday would be great. But again, I know you have to listen to the board.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, so we're back to this question again. So I think Ruby, you don't even know if you can miss anyway, though, what you're saying, because it's a schedule out of your control.
Well, I could switch, I could request to switch or just not work anymore.
Uh,
Well, I guess if you're willing to investigate
Yeah,
that,
why don't we do this?
we
Why
certainly
do-
don't want you to have to not work because
Yeah.
of this.
So could we do this? We have a little bit of time before we have to set the next meeting. So Ruby, would you know by like June 1st or so?
Yeah, I can get back to you.
Okay, why don't you do that? And if you can switch, then we'll do Wednesdays. If you can't, then we'll just do our Thursday slot.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate that. Is there any other question and answer out of Michelle's? Is your hand still up or is it up again? I'm not sure if it's,
No, she's gonna come back for citizen
oh,
speak. though.
okay, so, and now she's off, yeah. Okay, so any other question and answer out of us folks? No? All right, so let me see here. We talked about, we have the information about the budget stuff there. So we're basically on to citizen speak or media time. So Michelle, you said you had some other comments? Yeah. go ahead,
Yes,
Michelle.
thanks, Patrick. Michelle LeBear, 70 Division Street. The reason why I brought up raising my hand during the other discussion was because you kind of closed the discussion. So I wanted to apologize for bringing it back up again at Citizen Speak. That's all.
No, that's,
Fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, I just wanted, I'm hearing kind of two different stories going on here. A lot of people use the word strategic planning and other people use the word long-range planning. And there are two different things. They work together, but they're two different planning tools. So what is the grant looking for? A strategic plan or a long-range?
strategic.
Okay. That being said, one of my favorite things, my daughter had lived in Somerville, and we were walking down the street, and lo and behold, on the street was Ramsdale Library's sister library. If you go to Somerville, identical library to the Ramsdale's there. It's absolutely stunning. And the same, I believe it's the builder or the architect who did the Ramsdale, did this library as well. I went on and downloaded their strategic plan. It's 12 pages. I write emails longer than that. So it's simple, concise, to the point, well done. And this is Somerville, just outside of Boston. So I wanted to point that out. But like I said, I'm hearing long range and strategic, and in long range, you know, if you're talking long range, that can be a difficult process. Strategic planning, although difficult, is manageable. I also, I just want to confirm, Pat, that the letter of intent was accepted, wasn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Correct.
So having written grants in a past life, oftentimes the school district I worked for, we would do a letter of intent just to see if it was an option. So the door was still open. Doesn't mean we're going to apply for the grant. We do the letter of intent. So I'm glad to hear that at least it's been said, hey, you know, you may have something here. Another thing, I was at the meeting where the town manager explained the reasons not to apply for it and listed them out. And then I hear on the other side that those reasons aren't exactly accurate. That's upsetting to me, because as a taxpayer and as a citizen, I want information that's open and transparent. Also, I just attended an annual town meeting where $50,000 was given to a bowling alley. Okay, this is our library in Housatonic. It's pivotal to the Housatonic community. We have a town manager, we pay well. Assistant town manager, we pay well. We have a library director and assistant library director, and I'm talking about positions, not the people in those positions right now. But as a taxpayer, if you look at part of the job, it is grants, particularly at the town manager and assistant town manager level. So it's a little frustrating. I'm still at work. I'm a school employee. And as a matter of fact, what I'm doing is I'm reconciling grants right now. So that being said, again, my taxpayer hat on, it's like, wow, I don't get to pick and choose. I can, what I do, if it's needed, I do it. So I'm a little frustrated right now. And I know this grant could be a daunting process, but I'm glad at least the trustees are looking at it. My other question is those webinars regarding the grant. There's one Tuesday, May 23rd, Wednesday, May 24th, and Thursday, May 25th, if I'm correct. Can anyone go to those, or is that reserved just for trustees?
Yes. No, everybody.
Oh,
Friends,
okay, all right.
public,
I did not
anybody.
know whether it was for library people, you know,
No,
like
no.
staff and that sort of thing. And I see that they're recorded as well.
Yes.
So okay, that's good. Okay. So I appreciate the Board of Trustees at least looking this over and having a discussion about it, because once it's gone, it's gone. And I hate to see that library boarded up someday like Housatonic School. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank you. Mel. Also, I should point out something that the state is flush with money from the government from COVID. And that's why that they've opened up this grant, and it's pretty lucrative. But it's actually been 7 years since the last building program, 7 years. 7 years from now, it'll be, the last renovation in Ramsdale was 1930. So it'll be 100 years for that to have happened too. So the building is old. It's not going to last forever. So it's going to end up, as Michelle actually just said, it'll be like the school or the firehouse or something else that just starts falling apart. And then there's an albatross around, taxpayers' necks. So the thing is, this is the last public building we have down here. This is our last chance to do something. And again, if we do it right, it'll be a destination. People from Great Barrington downtown will come. People from Hudson will come. If you put on robust things, people will come. That's what we're trying to do. So anyway, that's it's a pretty intense meeting. But that's what we got. And we'll just keep soldiering ahead. Michelle knows a lot about the strategic grant writing stuff anyway. I think she actually has a degree in something like that. So maybe she can help us move us forward too. But honestly, the information online, just pick a couple libraries to see what they have. Again, Greenwich is really extensive when they do this stuff, but they went through a library director search too in the midst of one of these things. So they did the same thing. They just had to say, listen, we're in transition here, so this is going to be shorter than our usual strategic plan, but here's what we're going to do. So that's that. Eileen, do you have any more questions?
No,
Okay, thank you. Michelle, your hand's up, I think.
Yeah, I just want to say, with the library director and assistant library director leaving, it is going to be daunting. It would be daunting for either, if only one of the positions was leaving. And my background, I did grant writing for 12 years. But my degree, my education isn't in grant writing. I mean, to be quite honest with you, I think anybody can write a grant if you're passionate about it, and you just fulfill the criteria of the grant program. But like I said, I like to see staff involved, not just the library trustees and the citizens. Again, we're paying, I know we're paying salaries to people, and I would expect them to participate in the process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. We kind of end here with board speak. Does anybody else have any other parting comments here? There was a lot to wrap your head around there tonight, and sorry about that, Sandy and Rob. You can't get out now either, by the way. It's like a Rose Motel. You got in, but you can't get out.
3 years. I would just like to say that I quite a few years ago ran on saving the Ramsdale Library. That was my mission as a library trustee. And I've done some work to try and make that happen, but it has not happened. And I'm still passionate about making that happen. So I just wanted to say that. And I believe that especially, how Michelle put it, it's like, well, I didn't agree with how things went with the school, and I would not like to see the Ramsdale Library boarded up either. So we have our work cut out for us.
Thank you, Lauren. Anyone else? Okay, good. That's we're gonna have to take a nap after this meeting, I think. Okay, so I guess we just soldier on here. Who said that? Winston Churchill, right? Carry on. Yeah, so we'll stop there. Ruby, let us know what you've got. I'll send you guys some strategic plans that I've kind of accumulated over some time. They're kind of a fascinating read anyway. And then just stay tuned, because we're kind of in flux here with everything. Also, I'm available. We can't meet as a group without doing an open meeting situation. But if three of us can gather for dialogue, if you want, anytime you want. So just let me know about that, especially Rob and Sandy, since you're new. Happy to get together with you to just chat through some things, because there's as you can see, there's a lot on the plate here. There's a lot going on. So that's okay. We'll get through it. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. Good to see you. See you in June. We're not sure what day, but I'm sure that I'll be in touch before that for sure. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. Okay. Good night then. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samara. Thank you.